The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey there, everybody. Charlie, Dan, gentlemen, great to be with you.
Great to be with you as well, David.
Dan Janelle, tee us up, my friend.
Great. Hey, it's great to be here. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Charlie Posnick. Charlie is the founder of the Expert Dream Team, and his mission is to help more speakers, consultants, coaches, and experts reach their financial potential using the power of online courses. In this masterclass, Charlie will go over how to build, monetize, and maximize an online course. In addition, joining us today is my good friend, David Newman. David is the creator of 10 different online courses and has generated over $2 million of course-driven revenue since 2014. He is a course marketing expert and advisor to Charlie at the Expert Dream Team. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot today, and it's my pleasure to welcome them and you to this wonderful webinar. Have fun, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Hey, just real quick process question here, folks. Can you hear and see okay? Are you looking at our grayish, bluish slide here that says Course Launchpad? Can you hear Dan and Charlie and me? Everything okay as far as the audio visual? Just type yes in the question box if you can hear and see okay. So David's good, Cindy's good, Len is good. Charlie, over to you, my friend. Take us into it, and we're coming across loud and clear here. Thank you, guys.
All right, I can hear as well, David, just in case you're wondering.
Awesome.
So welcome everybody to our course Launchpad Masterclass. We're going to talk about building and scaling your online business and using that through online courses. And quite interesting that, there you go. Little technical glitch there, as we call it in the profession. So I know that you're busy. I know that you may be listening to some other things or doing some other things, kind of half listening to this. If there's any way possible for you to kind of shut off some distractions and kind of give us a good 30 or 40 minutes of your attention, I assure you, you'll walk away with a lot of great information from this masterclass. So our promise for this course is you'll talk about creating your online course and program, creating course-driven revenue from your course and around your course. This is in red for a reason. We'll get to this distinction a little more later on. Revenue from your course is, hey, I have a $1,000 course. I'll give you my course. You give me $1,000. We're good to go. We'll talk a little more about making revenue or generating revenue around your course just a little bit later. And we also want to go over how to scale your speaking, consulting, or coaching business. So a quick poll, if you guys, as you did earlier, just type in the question box, what are you primarily? What is your primary occupation? Consultant, coach, trainer, speaker? If you want to type in coach/speaker, that's fine as well. We just kind of want to get a sense for the diversity of folks and how many people are in which camp. So just real quickly, if you could type in one of those words. And David, maybe you can help me figure out kind of who we have on the call today.
Yeah, and I want to also underline the word primarily, meaning that that's where you make the majority of your revenue. So you might be a consultant who coaches and speaks, but it's 80% consulting. So then I would just put consultant. You might be a trainer who does some coaching and speaking, but again, 70 or 80% of your business comes from training work. So that's what we mean by the word primarily. And let's see what we have. David says business advisor and executive coach. Alan says executive coach with a dash of speaking. Scott says consultant/trainer. Cindy is coach, consultant, speaker. Sherry says all four, and these are kind of coming in here fast and furious. Ted is consultant, speaker. Len says courseware designer and presenter. That's interesting. Consultant, coaching, another consultant. Great. Fantastic.
Great. So it's good to know that you're making money by you're monetizing your intellectual property multiple ways, and online courses, as we'll discuss in a little bit, is just another way to kind of monetize your expertise. So if you are a consultant and you want to generate more income, you need to get more clients, you need to find more projects, you need to create more billable hours. This is going to result in less time for you, less freedom, less of an ability to scale your business, and an income cap on what you're earning, because by definition, in this situation, you're trading hours for dollars. If you're a speaker or trainer, again, you're responsible for getting more gigs, which is going to result in more travel, time on the road, more work for you, results in less time, less freedom, less ability to scale your business, and again, an income cap. Coaching, much the same. So you need to go find some more coaching clients, which is going to result in more booked calls, which is going to give you a fuller calendar schedule, if you will. And again, I'm sure you'll see the pattern here. All this is resulting in less time, freedom, less of an ability to scale your business, and an income cap. We're going to go over that a little more in just a bit. So again, be careful for what you ask. A lot of folks might say, you might be saying, well, Charlie, I have not that full of a calendar. I'd like to have a more full calendar. Again, just be careful for what you ask, because if you don't have something, the definition of a business is kind of being able to generate revenue separate from your time, attention, and presence. And if you don't have that, you don't have a business, you have a job. So once again, just be careful for what you ask for. And the other thing, the other interesting part about that is, let's say you had a completely full schedule. Obviously, when you discontinue working, if you want to take a week vacation, you're not getting paid for that, because again, you're selling your time for dollars. So if you're selling your time, if you could just type in the question box there, what is your income cap? I mean, if you charge $100 an hour for your time or services and you're booked 40 hours a week, it's $4,000 a week, that's $200,000 a year. If you say I can do 40 speaking engagements, I'm a speaker, 40 speaking engagements throughout the course of the year, and I charge $5,000 for each speaking engagement, well, that's $200,000 a year. So this is a really good exercise to start thinking about the fact that whether you're there or not, there is a cap to your income when you're doing one-to-one kind of time for dollar work. David, any thoughts on folks'
Yeah, I
income
mean, I did the math on this before I started getting into courses. And guys, feel free if you're already doing the math, and I'll walk you through the math here in a minute. But just type in the question box what you feel your income cap was. I had a $4,500 90-day coaching program. That was the bread and butter of my business back about 10, 11 years ago. I worked with between 40 and 50 clients a year. So I literally did the math one day, Charlie. It's like, okay, 40 times 4,500, that's 180,000. If it's closer to 50 times 4,500, that's 225,000. So no matter how you slice it, my income was capped somewhere between 180 and 225K. Now, maybe some folks listening to us right now go, man, I wish I had that problem. I wish I had 180 or $200,000, $225,000 business fully loaded. But I'll tell you, I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't take a minute off. I was working morning, noon, and night. It was a very tough way to make $225,000. Once you realize what that number is, and that you will never make more than that unless you put some other things in place in your business, it is a serious wake-up call.
So do we
Let's see
have
what
some
people are putting in here. If you guys did the math like I did the math on my business, what kind of numbers are you coming up with just based on your average speaking fee, based on your average coaching fee, based on your average consulting project? What is your income cap? And just type that in the question box so we can kind of have a look at where people are. And part of this math is we're going to use this later. We're going to use this math later to help you do some calculations on how an online course can not only be a supplement and a complement to your quote-unquote income cap, it can be a multiplier. But I'm curious, we'll do the before picture, and then we'll do the after picture, and we'll see where it goes. So people, we're not going to put names on this, but some people are saying 150K, 200K, another 200K. So Charlie, people like your math of it always ends up being 200K. Even if it's 400, I'm seeing 400, 300, 275, great. Think about an income cap is that you will never, ever, ever make more money than that number, no matter how hard you work. It's kind of a depressing thought. And so, Charlie, that's kind of the rocket fuel that we're going to try and solve for these folks going forward.
Great. So kind of to sum that concept up, if you're trading hours for dollars, now it might not be a lot of hours and it might be for high dollars, but it's not going to work long term. There is going to be some kind of an income cap. When you hit that, you're going to realize more that you have a job versus having a business. So you could, again, I love the question box here just to see kind of where people are about this whole thing, but just type yes if this sounds like you. The more successful you have become, the busier and more exhausted you are. We talked a moment ago about if you're a speaker, you're doing 30 or 40 speaking engagements, you're spending a lot of time on a plane. This could be you. Type yes in the box if it's you.
Yeah, David's on board, Cindy's on board, a lot of folks are on board.
The more money you bring in, the less time freedom you have. The lifestyle business that you thought you were signing up for is much more business and much less lifestyle. So I think we're hopefully in agreement that it's a good idea to think about making a shift, come up with a better way to generate more income more consistently. And another question, again, I thank you for participating in this. What would your life look like, your life in business, if you were making an extra $10,000 to $20,000 a month? If you could just type a word, even one word, either a word of how you would feel or a word of what you would do with the additional income. In the past, we've had people say travel, spend more time with my family, all these great things if you found yourself in a position where you were making additional income of, say, $10,000 to $20,000 a month.
I'll tell you what word is coming up here, Charlie. It's the F word.
The F word. Let me guess.
People are dropping the F bomb in the chat box right now, in the question box. It's freedom. Freedom. I'll tell you, the revenue is wonderful, and we think that we're making the dollars and the dollars count. You can always make another dollar, but you will never get your time back. And that discretionary time is one of the real key definitions of wealth. It's not how much is in your bank account, but how much of each day are you spending the way that you want to spend it?
How much is in your time bank account?
How much is in your time bank account? Love that. Absolutely right.
Yep, that's going in the next webinar.
There you go. That becomes a new slide. Thanks, everybody.
So the number one key to results is kind of getting out of the old mindset of one-to-one trading time for dollars into the one-to-many mindset. And a great way to do that is with an online course. So you have this knowledge. You are currently generating revenue from your intellectual capital by speaking about that, by coaching people on that, by training, consulting people on that. So it's important to understand you do have this information. It's a matter of taking that, putting it into the format of an online course, which is going to give you the ability to scale your business more, take off the income cap, have some more freedom, things like that. So we're going to go right into the 5-step kind of course creation plan that we put out. The first thing as you're creating a course or thinking about creating your course is what your source material is. I'm going to repeat what I just said moments ago. You have this information, whether it's in your keynote, if you write articles for other people, you write articles for your own blog. A lot of you maybe have written a book. The materials you use in your coaching or consulting program. The fact is that you have this information. So let's start there. Then, as we're thinking about it, you want to kind of almost go from the end. So begin with the end in mind. I think Stephen Covey said that. And think about what you would have on the sales page for your course that talks to people about the benefits they're going to get from having taken your course. And this is, what you're going to do. You're going to generate some kind of a sales or landing page. You're going to send people to that page. They're going to get some information about your course, and hopefully a lot of them are going to take part in the course. So if your course was about speaking and building a speaking business, you might think, all right, well, one of the groups of things I want to talk about, which could turn into a module, is how to start smarter, how to build your marketing strategy, how to create a speaker revenue roadmap, outreach to generate speaking leads fast. Another module in your course, another group of things you want to talk about, positioning and naming, package your service menu to maximize your money-making activity, just goals, targets, and focus. Think of yourself reading a sales page and you're looking to build a speaking business and it says, geez, in this course, we're going to talk about how to get the right prospects fast and how to establish expert status in less than 90 days. I mean, this is compelling for folks. So we're talking about the process of setting up your course. The first thing we said is you have the information. Let's start with the end in mind, which is going to give you your marketing copy. So we're working backward. A key thing we like to emphasize is less is more. We've had people come to us at Expert Dream Team saying something to the effect of, I am the greatest expert on this particular topic, and I want a 47 module course where each module is an hour long. That's not what we're proposing is a best practices successful course. We want to give people the least amount of information we can give them in the shortest period of time in order to achieve what we've told them we're going to help them achieve. So as you're working backwards, less is more, keep that in mind. Keep in what are the essential steps of things you want to get across to people, any core principles, practices. And another key thing that's going to come up again as we talk about putting a course together, you could refer to it as templates, tools, and scripts. I like to refer to it as resources. Again, just as an example, one of our clients, his business is helping startups raise venture capital. So one of the resources that he chose to put into his course is a database of venture capital folks. He built a spreadsheet with name, address, phone number of different venture capital folks. If you're buying a course on how to raise money from venture capitalists, that's a great value add. Once again, less is more. If you're not sure, as little as possible to maximize their results. Now you're kind of to the point where you want to outline the course, and you want to just kind of think in your mind of a cheat sheet or just key points. Is there pre-work that you want to give the person who's taking your course before they start the course or before a given module? Are there questions that you want to ask in this whole process? What discussion points do you want to bring up? Maybe give them something to work on for next week. Maybe something like a tip or a tactic or something to give people a short-term win so they feel like they're on the right track. And then again, back to the templates, tools, and scripts or any kind of resources that you'd want to put in the course in general, and then specifically in what module. So this here, I'm giving you the schematic of what you need. Now, you're going to look at this. You obviously are the CEO, and these are the pieces that you need to put together a course. Some of you may look at this and say, I can take care of all this. Some of you may look at this and say, I can take care of some of it. Regardless of where you are, this is the skill sets that you need. And I'm just going to go through them kind of quickly, one-on-one. An instructional designer. So this is the person that's going to help you get this information from whatever format it's in, between your ears, in your book, in your blog post, into modules for a course. So this person is going to work with you for several hours. They're going to help you think through what kind of things what your thoughts maybe are on how the course should be set up. Maybe there's some stories you want to put in the course. We talk about worksheets, resources, anything along those lines. So, and then either the instructional designer or a script writer, and the instructional designer sometimes will help you write the script, sometimes they'll engage a script writer. But at the end of this whole process, we essentially want the course all laid out, the modules, the points of the course, the learning points of the course, you could easily spend several $1,000s to have someone do this for you. I've talked to people before that said, Charlie, I'm a smart person. I've written a book. I teach classes. I can do this kind of stuff. Okay, maybe you can do this stuff. There's other questions to ask. Is it the highest and best use of your time? Would somebody do it maybe better coming in with an outsider's viewpoint? Are you too close to the material? So just some questions to ask about that. Graphic designer. I'm sure you have engaged in PowerPoint before, and a lot of people would say, I can handle this, I can take care of this. I think the key takeaway here is we want this course to look like it's a 4-figure course. When we talk about people building and selling a course, we're of the mindset that you want to value your information and expertise. If your thought is you want to build a course to sell for $10 on Udemy, God bless you. That's your prerogative. We're looking and we're suggesting that people focus on something that people are going to say, this is $1,000. Geez, this is really good. This is $1,200-1,500. So we want things to look good. In my research in putting together our team, I got quoted as high as $6,000 to put together a 10 PowerPoint slide deck. So if you're looking for someone who is good at what they do, more than likely they're going to charge for it. Project manager, some people would think this is a throwaway, and you might be thinking, well, I'll be the project manager. Yeah, I don't have some of these skill sets, Charlie, you're talking about. I'll find these people, I'll be the project manager. That could be one of the worst decisions that you would make. The project manager is probably one of the more cost-effective investments you'll make in building your team, and they're the one that's going to coordinate all the other folks on the team and coordinate you, because regardless of whether you do it, the course, you create your own course, or you have somebody else do it, you're an integral part of the process. You have to sign off on, okay, these modules look great, these PowerPoints look great, I want to change this, I don't like the script. You're involved in this process, and to the extent that you are in any way, shape, or form engaged in day-to-day business, whether it's coaching or consulting or on a plane traveling, there's an issue of time. There could potentially be an issue of time here. Voiceover talent. One of the things that we have found through trial and error is that regardless of whether if you are a speaker or not, or someone who presents to other folks and fancy yourself as the person who should be doing this course, we very strongly recommend having voiceover talent do that. A lot of folks say, well, I'm the expert, I should be doing it. And we kind of go back to, if any of you listen to audiobooks, you'll know that probably very few well-known authors and experts actually read their own audiobooks. So it's not going far astray by suggesting that someone else voice your course. Again, we want this to sound as professional as possible. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that you are not professional. Just maybe you're not very comfortable sitting behind a microphone reading from a script, and you may want to wing it. That's just a whole nother conversation about the quality of the course and how that could suffer if you're thinking, I'll just throw together a PowerPoint and wing this. The video needs to be edited. Again, this is the finished product, the course. It's a screencast video or a voiceover PowerPoint course. This is the finished product that people are going to see. We need to have the voice sounding great, the level sounding great, synchronized with the slides. You may, or if you're doing this yourself, or it happens sometimes with a professional, they may flub a word. You want to really have somebody whose job it is to catch that stuff and be able to correct it and just make it look great. I saved this for the last because this is kind of like this this black box, this black hole that a lot of people get scared about, and probably rightfully so. There's just a lot of things on the back end. I've actually had people come to me and say, Charlie, I could do all this stuff. I just don't understand the tech. I need you to take care of the tech for me, or I need someone to take care of the tech for me. once you have all the things done that we talked about and your course is moving forward, you do need to choose which platform you're going to put it up on. Everything needs to be uploaded. When we do a course, we have the video available. Then we also have the video available for download in case someone wants to watch it remotely. We strip out the audio, make the audio available on the site. We also make the audio available as a download in the event someone wants to listen to it remotely. We create a transcript for each module. The transcript is able to be printed off and taken. Again, we're giving people the ability, we want people to have the ability, if they have the time or the desire to watch, great. If they want to listen to something or re-listen to something, great. If they want to put something in their briefcase when they're going on a trip and reread something, we want to give them the ability to do all this stuff. Your payment processor, that all needs to be seamless with your sales page and the back end, giving people access to the course, making sure that's seamless, making sure the person gets some kind of a confirmation that they've paid for all this stuff. It's just a lot of tweaking and back and forthing with the tech, where this, if of anybody on this masterclass, this is probably one area where you'd probably want to at least engage a professional to help you out with this. So to this point so far in the masterclass, we've talked about outlining the module, 7 to 10 module course, and we suggest 7 to 10 as a sweet spot. Your course could be 5 or 6 modules. It could be 11 or 12 modules. There's no real magic, but we've found that a good sweet spot is somewhere between 7 and 10 modules. We talked about starting from the beginning, thinking from the buyer's perspective, thinking about benefits. So you should have some good marketing language, a good grip on what your content and resources that you might include in your course would be, and ideas to build the team to the extent you want to build a team, a whole team, part of a team, or just showing you what specifically, what functions you need filled to, in our mind, successfully complete an online course. So once you have your course, this is something that really obviously attracts a lot of folks, is just marketing and monetizing your online course. How do you do that? We were asking before, some of you said you're speakers. So if you're speakers, how many people do you speak in front of a month? Let's say you speak in front of 100 people a month. What percentage of people that you're speaking to could you potentially sell your course to? For ease of math, we're going to say 5%. So if you speak in front of 100 people a month, maybe you have 5 course sales, 200 people a month, 15. Essentially, and if we use $1,000 as a course price, essentially you're able to make probably anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month with very little, if any, additional marketing or sales effort, because you're already in front of these people, you're already speaking with these folks. An example here, this was actually a client of David's. So Charles, I want to focus here. I made $54,000 in the past month from the executive mentoring program I created. The executive mentoring program, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. That's one of the ways of making money around a course. If you look a little further below, the rest came from my Vistage workshops, an existing network. So Vistage workshops typically are, small numbers of people. So you don't need to be in front of 500 people or 1,000 people to start generating revenue from an online course. If you are a coach, so how many people are in the departments of the executives you coach? You're an executive coach, you're coaching the executive. That person, again, I'm just using round numbers here. You charge $10,000 to coach that executive. They have other people in their department who the executive may feel would benefit from your information, but they may not be willing to invest $10,000 in each of their 10 key people in their department, but maybe they're willing to invest $1,000 in a course. So again, we're looking at potentially $5,000 to $15,000 a month with very little sales effort over and above having a conversation with your client, with your existing client about your course. If you're a consultant, how many people are in the client companies you work with? Maybe you're consulting to sales leaders or the sales manager of a company. Maybe they have a handful of sales leaders, yet they have 100 salespeople in the firm. It's just an easy conversation. They're paying you for this one-on-one work with the sales leader, company's paying you for the work with the sales leader, or maybe the handful of sales leaders in the company, but what about the other folks? Again, maybe you set up a situation where you can provide your course to the other sales folks in the company. Again, I think there's probably several $1,000s a month potentially on the table. Now, to take this with zero additional sales effort, to take this is in a tangible one step further, there was a career coach who had a $1,000 course and was selling the course. They were making money from the course. So here's $1,000, here's my course. They were having a chat with the Microsoft executive who had 900 people in their department, and the person was interested in this coach's course. So she wound up licensing 900 seats to the course at the reduced rate of $600 a person. So this was a $500,000 sale this person generated because she had a course. So the takeaway from here, one of the takeaways from here is we suggest from a pricing standpoint, you're thinking about $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 for your course. You could sell the course for whatever you want. And in situations like this, where it's a bulk sale, it's attractive to an executive like the executive of Microsoft. And at the end of the day, you've put, in this example, $500,000 in your pocket. So one of the most powerful word that we like is existing. So your past clients, current clients, your existing network, these are people that know you, they like you, they trust you. Chances are they've paid you for something in the past. So presenting or approaching, I should say, your past clients or even your current clients with the fact that you have a course is a real easy conversation to have. It's not about starting from scratch and saying, hey, who am I going to sell this course to? And it's kind of as close to free money as we think you'll see legally anyway. I'm talking right now to everyone listening who may not be listening fully right now. You're kind of doing something else. I'd like you to look at this slide specifically and pay attention to this slide. This is, among all the great slides in this presentation, this is truly, in my mind, a money slide. And this is where we talk about the concept of making money around your course, not just selling your course one-off. So one of the things you could do by having a course is, instead of selling the course, creating a mentorship program, creating a group, one-to-many, a group mentorship program based around your course. You can call it flipping the classroom. And an example would be, okay, so Mr. Jones, I'd like you to participate in my group mentoring program. Here's the deal. It's an 8-week program. We're going to meet a couple times a week as a group. We're going to have scheduled calls. I'm going to give you this course. So again, you have this course. I'm going to give you this course. I want you to go through the course on your own. I want you to take notes. I want you to write questions down. And when you come on this group call and you're talking with me or my colleagues on the call and the other folks on the call, you're going to be asking specific questions that's going to exponentially move you forward versus just doing the course on your own. There'll be a time when the calls are starting, so you'll have a time when you need to do the course by, gives you some impetus to do that. And the key part here is instead of selling a $1,000 course, you're now selling this group mentorship program that's based on the course for potentially anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a person. David, do you have anything to add to this slide?
Yes, well, this is, as Dan's very kind introduction at the top of the call, this strategy, and this is why Charlie's excited about this slide, and this is partly why we're helping our speakers and consultants build these courses. This has been responsible for the $2 million of revenue overall. So I had a course. I was selling the course for not a lot of money for a couple of years. I realized, wait a second, people are not getting results out of the course. It's do it yourself. They're dipping in, they're dipping out, they're futzing around. I said, let me put a structured mentorship program around the course. Let me charge $12,000 for this course. Let me invite people into a mentoring relationship with me in a group setting. So it's a hybrid, really. It's part group, part one-on-one, part they get the course, part they get a Facebook group and a community. But it's exactly what Charlie's describing. It's also exactly what that earlier success story from Charles Scott was about, is that Charles wasn't just selling a course, he was selling that mentorship that brought in $54,000 in a 30-day period. He couldn't have the mentorship program if he didn't have the content, if he didn't have the course modules, if he didn't have this ready to go. So it's Flip the Classroom. It is a very premium price point, and your clients want the help. Your prospects want the help. They want the transformation. They want the access. They want the attention to them that you can give in these kind of small batch, high touch mentorship programs. But you don't want to be teaching the whole time. If you're teaching the whole time, then it's just blah, 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 blah. And then you're basically doing a live-led course. Nobody wants a live-led course. They want the transformation of the course in the background plus the mentoring. And that business model brought me $500,000 in 2015, another $500,000 in 2016, and $1,067,000 in 2017. Not that I'm counting, but I'm counting. So since 2015, this exact slide and what Charlie just described to you has been a $2 million source of revenue since 2015. So pretty astounding and pretty compelling. If you don't have a course, this should get you thinking about doing a course now.
Excellent, David. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with us. So, I'm not sure why you showed up here today. It could be you're tired of hearing you should have a course, I should have a product, I should have something to sell other than my one-on-one services, but you don't know where to begin. You do want to start making more money, reach more people, and get off that gig-to-gig hamster wheel and have it to get another speaking gig, get another coaching gig, get another consulting gig, or deep down inside, you know that offering online courses will get you more time, more money, more freedom. So there's the concept of doing it yourself and just some pitfalls and myths we have here. You could be in a situation where you say, I do want an online course and I could either do it all by myself, I could do most of it myself and I'll hire the rest, or I'll just build the team you've outlined here. So let's look at just kind of the real cost of do it yourself. There's an hourly rate that you get, whether you charge an hourly rate for your service or you charge $4,000 for a day long at a company, which is going to translate into roughly $500 an hour. This 200 hours comes specifically from David when he did his first course way back when and was working with all this stuff himself. It took him about 200 hours to do the course. So if you're pricing your services, or if your time is priced at roughly $500 an hour, there's an actual real cost of doing it yourself of probably anywhere from $40,000 to $100,000, depending on where you are on this pricing schedule. Not to mention the opportunity cost of not having a course. So if we determine you can make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, maybe even $20,000 a month with an online course, if you're doing it yourself, and again, you're either doing it all by yourself, you're doing it partially by yourself, you're hiring a team and letting them do it, there's a time component here. So if you have somebody do it for you who can get it done in 10 weeks or 12 weeks and doing it on your own, it could be 6 months. You could have 3 or 4 months of the opportunity cost of lost income just by not having a course. So, you have a choice. You can clearly do it yourself. And the questions I would begin to ask is, do I have the time to do this myself, and will it ever get done? And we like to say, if you could do it yourself, you probably already would have done that. Second question to ask is, I do have the time, should I be doing it myself? Which goes to kind of the highest and best use of your time. Should you be doing work that you're paying a project manager for or a video editor for, when you could be making your $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour doing something else? Quality. You really want something, the end result, that's going to be what we're referring to as 4-figure great. And we just went over the cost, the real cost of not having a course, or the real cost of doing the course by yourself, and also the opportunity cost of not having it. The other option would be to have it done for you. The benefits there is it gets done quickly, quicker in any way, shape, or form, quicker than you will probably get it done on your own. The quality, is going to be a premium quality. You don't have to worry about did the video editor I find, is he or she going to give me the great quality? Is the graphic designer going to give me great quality? And any way you slice it, it's going to come out to you to be much more cost effective. So what we're doing in Expert Dream Team is we are opening up 3 done-for-you course creation slots. It's a very labor-intensive process, as you might imagine, so that's why we have 3 slots that we're opening up, and we're going to talk in a few minutes about applying for one of those slots to see if this is something we might be able to help you out with. So with Expert Dream Team, our company, you're getting it all done end-to-end, and you could think of it kind of like ghostwriting a book, which you could pay anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000 to get done. Just to be clear, our team is interviewing you for several hours over the course of a few weeks. We're building out all the modules. We're writing all the word-for-word scripts. We're professionally designing the PowerPoints. We're providing professional voiceover, and then that all elusive tech. We're taking care of everything on the background, everything on the back end in the background, I guess. Nothing you have to worry about. You're involved in the process all along, and we are doing all the work. If you go to our website, this is a snapshot from our website. The investment's $25K to do an online course, and we split that up into $5K for 5 payments of $5K to make it more palatable for folks. So $25K is the investment. Again, if you are interested and want to apply and we decide to work together and you're one of the first people, essentially what we're going to do is take off the last payment. So it's only going to be an investment of $20K for you. So I want to be crystal clear in the outcome. Again, today you have a speech, book, consulting program, things like that. You have this information and expertise, and we are going to take care of everything to get your course built, online, ready to sell. Our deliverable is a completely sales-ready online course. When we're done, you can send somebody to the sales page that we're going to develop for you, which again, you have approved, you've seen it in progress, and you're loving the sales page. They go to the sales page, they can read it, they can click on a button to buy, everything gets transacted, we're good to go. So it's been my experience that people are usually in one of 2 camps at this point. You're listening to this, you are successful, however you're going to define success, but we're going to define that as you're trading a lot of hours for a reasonable amount of dollars. So in that situation, this is where an online course would help you scale your business more, help you generate some more scalable revenue, and or create some additional free time. David, you referenced earlier, a lot of people kind of using the F word, a lot of people want more freedom. Maybe they're happy with what they're making, but they'd like to do that in fewer hours. You could be in the other camp, Camp B, where you may be saying, well, geez, I'd love to have the problem where I'm working 40 hours a week and booked pretty solid. Again, be careful for what you ask. I think from going through this masterclass, you know that adding an online course will probably help you get to where you want to be quicker and much more effectively. So the next step is just to apply. We embody this quote here. You should feel equally proud of what you sell as to who you sell it to. We don't take everybody. You do need to apply, and I'm doing interviews. It's interviews with me personally over the next few days. So you just need to go to Call with Charlie. That's me, callwithcharlie.com. You could it'll give you an opportunity to book a call with me over the next few days, and then you will get a kind of 1-page application form, which is going to ask you some questions about your business, which is really going to help me prepare for the call. And if nothing else, what you'll get out of the call is some good feedback on if we can help you now, great. If we can't help you now, great, but maybe some things that'll help you build your business. So we're going to open it up to Q&A right now. David and I are happy to answer any questions you have. Just remember, it starts with a conversation with me. So just go to callwithcharlie.com, schedule time now. When you get the questionnaire, just be as complete as possible. And I look forward to, again, just investing a half an hour of time with you over the next couple of days and exploring whether or not we both think that this is something that we can help you with.
Awesome. So yeah,
that's
let's go. I mean, we can either go back to our fantastic host, Dan Janelle, or we can even take questions. Maybe Dan, you want to kind of just chime in here for a minute while people are formulating their questions about any of the teaching today, or any questions that you guys have for Charlie, questions about how the course creation process works, questions about how to monetize the course. Type those questions in, and then Dan, feel free to chime in right here if you'd like to.
Sure. Thanks, David and Charlie. Thanks for all this great information. I'm really struck by one thing you said, is that if you would have done it, you would have done it by now. Which is like a mantra that we should have over all of our desks, because there's so many things that people want to do, think they should do, will get around to doing. But in truth and honesty, they really need to offload it and give it to people who can do it. And I just want to attest to Charlie and David here. I've actually taken David's course. I've actually paid to take David's courses, and they're wonderful. They're very, very good. And I know that he and I have masterminded for years together and have traded information and background and ideas. And I can see that Amy Porterfield's work is evident in some of these slides here. So David has paid a lot of money and studied with a lot of the masters to learn what really works in all of these systems. So I just know that call with Charlie, he will be straight and honest with you, and you will find out if it's a good fit. And if it's a good fit, I'd encourage you to do it. And if it's a bad fit, I'm sure that Charlie will be the first one to say, no, this isn't ready, this isn't the right time. Let's talk again in a couple of months or a couple of years when you develop more work or whatever. So with that, I see questions coming in, and I just want to say that as we say in the marketing business, I know take advantage of this no obligation call with Charlie. I'm sure you'll learn a lot about yourself and your business just by filling out the questionnaire. And sometimes filling out the questionnaire is a good focus point for that. I've done that on seminars that I've attended. So you find out what you know and what you don't know, and you get a good feeling for what your skill set is and what you need some help with. And I'd like to close with just saying that I've been reading a lot of books now on, go with your strengths and forget your weaknesses and, and all of that. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of truth to that. And I have given up on a lot of things that I just am not good at, don't want to do, don't care to do. And instead, I'm focusing on what I can do better and best, and which really makes me happier. And I've enjoyed that as a philosophy as well. So with that, I turn it back to Charlie and David.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. And thank you also for your kind words about your experience on the consumer side of my course. And of course, we are friends and we are mastermind buddies. And I've learned a tremendous amount from Dan and his expertise as well. So, Charlie, first question coming in from David Porter. In your design of 7 to 10 modules, what's the average self-driven course duration? How long was David's $2 million foundational course? So I'll tell you the answer. Then Charlie, feel free to riff on this. I've got 7. I mean, I'm on the short side. I think this is one of the myths that people have, that the more expensive the program is, the more stuff is in it. And it's actually the opposite, right, Charlie? So talk about our programs with our clients that we build courses for. The programs are sold by weight and not by volume.
That's a really good way to put it. And we are just completing a course right now, and I'm trying to think of the total time. The total time of the course is definitely less than 2 hours. It may even be closer to an hour and a half, but it is jam-packed with super great, wonderful, solid information. It's kind of like a lot of people say about books. Well, there's a 200-page book and there's 40 pages of good information and 150 pages of fluff. So we work very hard to create courses where there's little to no fluff and people are really getting a good bang for the buck, not only from what they're investing, but also from the time they're investing as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess, David, as far as your question, David Porter, if you'd like to book a call with Charlie, you guys can certainly. The whole purpose of the call is really about to see if there's a clear path to monetization. If there is a clear path to monetization and it's a green light in both directions, we will invite you in. Charlie will invite you in. If there's no clear path to monetization, or you're not positioned, or you're not ready, or this would just be kind of a big waste of time for you, we're probably not going to take on your project. I mean, we love you. We believe that you can do this maybe at some other point, some other phase in your career, but we don't take on folks that we don't think can be very, very successful in a short period of time, given the assets that you have, given the audience that you have, given the client base. And again, the magic word is existing. Do you have an existing base? Do you have an existing practice? Do you have existing clients and prospects that are coming to you for other things right now? And I guess, Charlie, this also leads into Diane Griffin's question, which you and I haven't really spent much time about this, but it's a great question. What type of business would not be acceptable or would not be a good fit to have an online course built for?
My mind goes into two places. One is like subject matter, what might not be good, but you kind of alluded to the other place where my mind went to is if you are really at the beginning stages of wanting to become an expert, you're really not generating a lot of clients and work right now, and you're just sort of in those formative stages. That would probably be a little more challenging, because our job is to take this information that you've cultivated over the time and mold that into a successful online course. As far as subject matter goes, David, I mean, is it kind of B2B that we're focused on a little more, that we think is going to have a higher chance of success?
I think it's a mix. And again, if someone has a very robust business to consumer practice, they already have a big list, they already have a big YouTube channel, they already have a big book or a big blog, and this is simply a supplement and a complement and an amplifier to that existing network, it could be business to consumer. It could be yoga, wellness, parenting, personal finance. It does not have to be business. Certainly, most of our projects do come from our business consultants and business speakers around things like leadership. Mike has the pitch deck program, Carrie's in banking. Mike has leadership. We've done, Minds on marketing. There's all kinds of courses on all kinds of topics. It's really about how robust is your existing offering and your existing audience, and could this course be a game changer and a revenue multiplier for you? So it's really more about the strategic place that the course has in your business, more so than topic A versus topic B.
Agreed.
Charlie, here's a great question, and we do get this a lot, and I think people are maybe overly concerned about it. Sherry is asking, how do you protect intellectual property? How do you protect the fee? Like someone pays $9.97. How do you know they're not going to share their password, share their login, post this on their intranet, and have everyone kind of horn in on your course when they've only paid for one seat?
Well, number one, I think in today's day and age, it's stuff like that is going to happen from time to time. But we could also look in the back and see the activity from a particular course. And I think to the extent that you see someone, quote unquote, your client logging in multiple times a day, 7 days a week, it could be a conversation to have with the client. So there is a way to kind of monitor what's going on, but at the end of the day, it would be a situation where you'd have to approach the client. There's no way for us to protect someone from giving. You can't stop someone from giving someone else your password.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I want to zoom out on maybe a meta level here to answer Sherry's question. There are ways to check and secure and, by IP address, by geographical location, to make sure they're not doing any funny business with your course. At the macro level, though, we advise our clients, listen, don't worry that people are going to steal your stuff. Worry that they don't. Worry that they don't steal your stuff and that your course isn't all that good, it's not all that valuable. Because if you show, hey, listen, you guys bought 10 seats and you got 74 logins here from 74 different computers and IP addresses, number one, you can go back and there's some legal action and there's some financial action that you can take. But you say, listen, how many more seats would you like to buy? Because obviously people inside your corporation are loving this course. And that's when you get the 500-seat license, the 700-seat license, the 250-seat license. So it's not always bad news, guys. It's not always bad news. Len's asking a question, and I want to kind of find out a little bit more about this question. Len's asking, how does the style of the courseware you create compare to the style of this presentation? So that could go a couple ways. Do you mean style as in like fonts and colors and typeface? Do you mean style as in length and duration? A lot of people think a course is a collection of webinars. And while Len is typing in his clarifying answer to my clarifying question, I would discourage you from thinking that a course is simply a strung together collection of webinars. It is not. It is breakdown module by module. That's what the instructional design team does. It is cumulative. It is meant for consumption and bite-size application, because people buy your course for repetition, reinforcement, and application of what you did in your speech, of what you did in your coaching, of what you did in your consulting program. So digestibility, length, duration, content, depth, all of those are going to be very, very different than a webinar. A webinar is designed to offer value and invite engagement, and it's sort of a self-contained unit in that respect. It's not, don't think of a course as a series of webinars, Len, if that's helpful. But you might have already typed in your clarifying answer to my clarifying question, so let me check that I'm not just blowing hot air, and then once we clarify it, on-screen information density as well as on-screen interactivity between presenters and attendees. Okay, Charlie, you want to tackle that one?
I want to make sure that I'm understanding the question, David.
So is what we just did right here for Len, as far as on-screen information density and on-screen interactivity between presenters and attendees, would we put this into an online course?
I'm trying to think back to going through the different modules of the courses we've done. I mean, it's not far off, but it's just really course dependent.
I totally agree. The information density is pretty much the same. What you don't get to do in an online course that you do get to do in a webinar is, hey guys, what do you think? Hey guys, type in the question box. Hey guys, what's been your experience? What's your income cap? What's your big question? What's your problem with X, Y, or Z symptom? Now, the way that you do that is when you build a community around the course. That could be either a Facebook group, that could be a monthly Q&A call. You do want to connect with your students and with your participants. You can't really do it the way we did it here, Len, because this is a live webinar format, and that obviously is recorded modules that are sitting in an online training portal. So in that way, it's different. Slides, information density, the speed, the effectiveness that Charlie kind of went through, covered a lot of information in a very condensed period of time. We do try and have that same effect with our client courses that we build for you.
And also, it's Len, L-E-N, correct?
Len, yes, Len Sitter.
Yes. So, David, if I'm not mistaken, the modules in your course right now are probably 35 to 40 minutes in length.
Correct.
Which this webinar was probably around that time, maybe a little longer. And I think, David, you also said to me in the past, were I to do it over again, I would have them be shorter, just shorter chunks of information. So if you think what we did today is probably much longer than a typical module would be in the course. Again, some modules have more graphics in them, some have less, some have more. I don't think they're going to have more text than we had. We probably had as much, if not more text than most slides. But the other point I wanted to make about interactivity you talked about is there is a way to get that from using resources and worksheets and things like that. So for example, you're a LinkedIn expert and you say to people, okay, well, you want to screen LinkedIn and you want to make a list of the different titles of people you want to screen for, you want to make a list of the geographic locations you want to screen for, you could create a simple worksheet and say, go to the screening worksheet at the end of this module and fill that out. So it can help with the interactivity, if you will, but not having it live, David, as you referenced, like, hey, everybody, stop what you're doing now and go type something in a question box.
Right. Exactly right. We have another question from Sherry, which is kind of a great philosophical question. What defines a module?
What defines a chapter in a book? We're taking your information and we're looking at the big picture. So we're looking at the big picture of what we want people to accomplish. Again, I use the example often of a LinkedIn expert. So the purpose of this LinkedIn course, this hypothetical LinkedIn course we're talking about, is we want you to be able to generate business-to-business leads through LinkedIn. That's the course name, Generate Business-to-Business Leads with LinkedIn. So as we're thinking through that, we're thinking through what are the logical chunks or pieces of information that we want to incorporate into this course. What is the process we need to go through? And this is what the instructional designer goes through. So one module, what might constitute one module is how to use the search function on LinkedIn, or how to communicate with people after they have accepted your request to be connected. So it's really situation dependent, and some modules are shorter than others. Again, it just really depends on what the learning purpose of the whole course is and what we want the individual learning purposes of each module to be.
Awesome. And Len is saying, understood, helpful, thanks. Fantastic. And that was about the previous question. So I have one more question. Again, if you guys typed the question earlier and it flew by in the flood here, feel free to retype it so it's at the top of the queue again. David Myrick is saying, I have a course idea for self-help videos. How long should the videos be? Video length, video format? I don't want to spend time and money making movie quality videos for you to tell me it was done all wrong. So Charlie, talk about kind of, do we do the talking head videos or the PowerPoint videos, and how do we kind of advise David not to waste a whole lot of time doing it himself in a vacuum?
Yeah, so two issues here. Number one is how we do the course for people. So our courses are screencast video or voiceover PowerPoint courses. We don't do live talking head videos for folks. If you're asking me an opinion that you want to do a course yourself, it's going to be you talking. I would probably, in today's day and age, lean towards shorter, quicker hits with the videos than some long, drawn out 30 to 40 to 50-minute video. I'd rather see more modules and shorter things if you're going to do this kind of thing by yourself. If we're working with you on this, we're going to talk through, again, what the whole learning purposes of the course, how that might break down into the modules, and then, again, the each video portion of each module is probably going to be, I don't know, some modules we've done are 9 or 10 minutes long, some are 15, 20 minutes long. So it just really depends on what the subject matter of the particular module would be. But generally speaking, going back to the webinar presentation, less is more. Let's figure out what we want them to learn and give it to them in as short a period of time as possible.
And that might be the end of the pre-submitted questions. If you have another question, feel free to drop it in. Don't chop it in. Drop it in to the question box. I would just encourage you, because we've worked with a lot of people, had a lot of these initial conversations. You might not even be sure if you have a course idea. And you're saying, well, should I book this call with Charlie? Should I tap into the experts that kind of know how to do this and have done this, with lots of different topics and lots of different subject matter? I would encourage you, if what you've seen here today makes financial and economic sense, and if you want to save some money, right, do those 4 payments of $5K instead of the normal $25K that's on the website right now. And more importantly, if you see the revenue coming back to you, if you see the revenue coming back to you at that pace of $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 a month, if you had a $1,000 course in your toolkit today, I will tell you, Charlie's just a fantastic human being, which is why we're doing this project together. And he's also a very smart strategist. So this is not about, do you want a course? Do you not want a course? Great. Let's get you in. This is about, does a course make sense for you? Does it make economic sense? Should it be part of your body of work? Is this an investable opportunity that by not having it today, you are actually losing money? So I think our best clients, they're not looking to, take over the world with their course. They're saying, oh my gosh, the fact that I don't have a course has cost me $10,000 a month for the last 6 months. I came out with my new book. I'm doing this new kind of consulting engagement. I know I could have sold dozens and dozens and dozens of seats, maybe even hundreds of seats to a course if I had it, but I didn't have it. So does a course make strategic sense? Does investing in the entire done-for-you end-to-end process make sense for you financially? Talk with Charlie. The link is callwithcharlie.com, and you'll have a very in-depth strategic discussion about, does marketing and monetizing a course make sense for you right now with where you are, with what you have. And like I said before, like Dan mentioned, if it's not a fit, Charlie would be the first one to raise his hand and say, you know what, probably not a fit. So I would just encourage you, if you're on the fence, do I book the call? Do I not book the call? Explore it, talk about it with Charlie, and come to a good determination whether this is for you or not. Charlie, any closing thoughts?
One closing thought, and it's my favorite question that came from any of our webinars. Gentleman Claude, who basically was typing in there, he typed a question and said, I really want to do a course, but I think I'm a couple months away. I want to really get my ducks in a row and get my thoughts in a row. And we, interacted with him on the webinar at this particular point in time and said, Claude, this is our job. It's our job. It's part of the process, part of the service that we provide to help you get those thoughts out of your head and organize them. So he said, I don't know if I should book a call because I think I'm a couple months away. So we said, just book a call. We'll talk about it. Long story short, after the first meeting with our instructional designer, he was just lasered in, and he's been one of the easiest and quickest clients to go through because he was boom, 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 because he had some help in synthesizing his thoughts and thinking about, okay, what could the modules be? And then once he had that information, he was able to steer us in the right direction. Hey, here's a great blog post I wrote. Here's this, here's that. And his course just went as smooth as can be. So the point of that story is, if in any way, shape, or form you're thinking, yeah, maybe kind of, sort of, not the right time, just let's hop on a call next couple of days. I'm willing to invest a half an hour of time. And if it's not the right time and you want to do something 3 months from now or never, that's your prerogative as well. But be good to talk with you and at least meet you and see if I could help out a little bit right now.
And I think it's also, just last quick closing thought, Charlie, based on what you just said, I think our clients, every single one of our clients would say, you know what, the team is great, but it's not even about the team. It's about having the structure and the momentum to get this thing done. Yes, you have the team. Yes, you have all the different experts. Yes, you've got the full, technology, video, voiceover, curriculum design, slide design, set up the portal, shopping cart, e-commerce, credit card processor, email, all of that's taken care of. That's great, but give me the structure. Give me the fast track to get this done, and give me the momentum so I'm coming out the other end of this chute, right? The other end of this pipeline here, and the course is done. The course is just done. It's ready. It's finished. It's ready for sale. So it's the team plus the structure plus the momentum, and we'd love to invite you to an exploratory call about that when you go to callwithcharlie.com. All right, Dan Janelle, you're a rock star as always. Charlie Posnack, you're one of my favorite human beings on the planet. I just love working with you every single day. And thank you guys for being with us. And this was a fantastic session, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
Charlie. Appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.